This is the top of Seymour Park in Vancouver that we hiked up, and you are looking over all of Vancouver and the Vancouver area, Burnaby, Surrey, Richmond, whatever stuff. There's the harbor, the ocean, all that. It's very high up. We're very high up. Look at those mountains over there. And you're watching the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast.
Hey everybody, here we are back again for episode 45 of the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast. Today we are reviewing Qua.
Oh, sorry, I just remembered that in our 30 Days review, we never mentioned that there was a new intro thing.
I don't think it was new.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I didn't write anything down. I thought I'd heard it before.
No, it was new.
Okay. Anyways,
anyways,
last time though, we did not mention what we're doing this time, which is, it's pretty obvious.
Ties That Bind Part 3 and Part 4. Part 4 is
Oh wait, we did mention it. Never mind, sorry. What am I talking about? Okay, yeah. It's pretty obvious. Season 58 is continuing to come out, so we are continuing to review it, starting in with episode 753, The Ties That Bind, Part 3, written by, of course, Paul McCusker.
Ooh, Polly! First thought, Hadley's a perilous pen. 30, the first thing they show is oh, perilous pen, then Hadley's yeah, I don't know, comic book shop, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, Devin's right, Hadley's a perilous pen.
The previously on was, basically confirmed Hadley is the perilous pen. Okay,
so,
now that we've done previously on,
anyway,
what's the
description
for the episode?
So the Parker family's having trouble bonding and connecting, so they decide to devote Sundays to family days. Connie tries to bond with Jules and brings her to church. Jules claims that the whole church concept and the people involved are all fake, and goes off on a walk after receiving a text from someone, one of her Odyssey friends, presumably Vance. Meanwhile, Hadley becomes the host for Wooten's comic Connellsville panel, and Wooten announces to the public his new comic series, The Robinson Family Sleuths, or something like that. We can't remember what it's called. And Wooten accidentally challenges the Perilous Pen to finding out more of the secrets about the series, which haven't been revealed yet. And Connie finds the receipt for the trunk that June owned, goes with the key in the house that Jack built, and decides to go bring it to Jason to help him with his hunt.
And it's at Hegler's, right? Yeah.
So that's...
At first I was like, ooh, oh wait, Wally's good, I guess, so I can't make any, comments about, ooh, hey, Wally and his, mob ties are involved in this trunk mystery, and June's secret agent, secret aliveness.
Well, it wasn't in this episode, I just realized that.
Who's that correct? Okay, so, we start off with the Parker family, and wow, that was basically all of Sunday Morning Scramble in 3 minutes condensed down. Is that what you thought of?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I'm honestly amazed that Connie was able to get Jules to go to church. It's interesting how they're paralleling Wooten and Connie and Hadley and Jules here. And also, well, they were having the same way, same Sunday morning conversations. Do you want to come to church? Well, I don't want to go to church and stuff like that. And then they got them to go.
Because it was a scene right after.
Exactly.
Wooten and Hadley.
And it is nice that they had that kind of, the common note through the storylines that because this episode was on a Sunday, that, between the Parkers and the Kendalls and the Wooten, the Bassetts, that they're all church-related stuff because it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't see how Wooten can hear that Hadley was able to, convince the event organizer to just make him the host of Wooten's panel.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense
without
to me.
Wooten realizing that Hadley obviously has some serious kind of pull around here. Also, Hadley hosting the panel is obviously a terrible idea. Will he reveal the secret just before Wooten himself can speak the words? That's what I thought was going to happen.
I thought that was going to happen. The part with crickets, what was it that he said? He made some, racist comment or something like that about, Russia or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then, everyone's silent, and he's like, ha, ha, ha. And then everyone's like, let's move on. He's like, yeah, let's do that.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But
it actually did feel like a comic convention.
Yeah, I really like how they've captured that really well. Which, like I said, it makes sense, because in terms of cast and stuff, I'm not sure about the crew, but so many of them are often at huge, SDCC and other
Especially Jess.
Yeah, Jess, Katie, Townsend are all people who are very regularly at SDCC and other huge conventions. But still, the fact they were able to capture it really well, like, A+ job, Paul. I'm very happy
makes
with
me
that.
so appreciative that we've actually gone to conventions, because we can appreciate this album so much more.
I really hope I get to go to Fan Expo again this year.
Because, yeah, everything with the conventions being really, really well done. That line with Camilla and Matthew, and it's like, he laughed at his costume so hard, like, whatever happened. I was thinking, like, some people might take that as an insult towards that person's costume, but there are actually costumes like that are meant to make people laugh.
So, plus points on the panel. I was like, what? So not only did we get to hear
They mentioned Power Boy!
Not only did we get to hear Power Boy mentioned for the first time in forever, but Drake the Cosmic Copper got mentioned in a non-OAC episode. That's the first time I can think of.
I never thought about
that. An OAC episode has been mentioned in any way in a broadcast episode.
Oh, I never thought about that!
So that's really exciting. Because nothing that's happened in them before, as far as I can remember, has ever happened. But that's because the only episodes that have come out broadcast-wise since the OAC are just the Ties That Bind episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that is exciting to know that they are gonna, like, acknowledge them in some way. So
I don't know about you, but I was surprised that they mentioned Power Boy not once, but like twice.
Yeah.
Because they had to, for those of you that don't know this, they had to kind of take out Power Boy and put in Captain Absolutely, because there's a Japanese superhero in comic
No, I think it was an old Marvel comic hero or something.
Well, there's there is a comic book series called Power Boy.
Yeah.
So there's copyright issues, so they replaced him with Captain Absolutely. But they mentioned him not once but multiple times.
Yeah,
and
I was really happy, because I've always been so annoyed by the fact that they just completely ignore Power Boy was Wooten's rise to fame. So yeah, that was great.
It's like now they just need to mention Hand Up in an episode and we'll be all set. We wish we had some philanthropic organization that lends a hand out to the community, but we don't.
Yeah, how convenient that would be. I was really hoping that Wooten actually had a tattoo. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't. It seems like something that...
I don't know what you was thinking, like, I imagined it to be like Uncle Stan's tattoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially now that we've seen Wooten's face, because that used to be the thing. They used, like, Mr. Wilson, and you never saw his face in illustrations. And also because, I'm sure there's probably also, a portion of, like, the really, like, the audience of this show.
His whole back is, like, one big tattoo.
Yeah.
Like the dude from Divergent.
His face is actually tattooed. It looks completely different. But he has different face
Oh my gosh, that would his whole body's tattooed. It actually looks completely different. It's just...
He's actually way skinnier, but he's just tattooed his body shape on.
It's like when people have, like, 3D tattoos and stuff.
Yeah. But, I thought that would have been cool just because of, like, I'm sure there's still a lot of people who listen to the show who are like, tattoos are of the devil kind of thing. So I would have been like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I think, if anyone out of, like, the Christian role model adults in this show would have a tattoo, it would probably be Wooten. Or Whit. I bet Whit does have a tattoo. He totally does.
Whit has a tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, a tattoo of,
he
like,
has a huge
skull
huge
and crossbones just, like, covering his entire back.
Yeah.
And, like, no one ever asks about it because they're too scared to find out the story behind it.
That's why he never goes swimming without, like, a full, like, one-piece bathing suit.
I could see Whit wearing... Oh, wait. Yeah, that's why
Grady,
he wore his entire clothes in the
deep end cover.
So no one sees his tattoo.
Yeah. We don't know what he was wearing when he went whitewater rafting with Grady.
Everything on Wooten's body is tattooed, except for a small portion under his hair that is not.
Why? Find out in album 64. The QA could have gone better, but honestly, I have seen worse panels.
Yeah, me too.
It wasn't DashCon. Could have been worse.
I've seen, like, way more unorganized panels. I've seen panels that haven't started for, like, 10 minutes, because, like, we don't have everyone here, we need more things and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. The cosplay panel I went to at Fan Expo Vancouver, I mean, it did go pretty well, I think, but they literally just, like, the people who were running it, they were, like, professional cosplay people, but they weren't professional cosplayers, and they just kind of got, like, asked, like, last minute to run this panel. So she's like, I've never run a cosplay panel, I don't really know what to do. Like, she basically got, people ask questions and stuff, and she had a lot of expertise.
Was it the Jessica Rabbit person?
Yeah. And there were two other people too. She did a good job with it, but like she's, you know, like didn't know what to do because they just threw her into it. Oh, timely.
Oh.
Homestuck may be updating within the week, and I'm ecstatic.
My crab communicator.
I'm putting you on speaker, crab.
Dave.
I'm gonna touch the butt. Smuppet watch. Okay.
No.
On the topic of Smuppets, it's interesting how this episode looked at a family is on an angle independent of the Pride Festival. See? Pride Festival, Smuppets, see? There's the connection.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's interesting because I mean, the family theme thematic for this album is supposed to be, you know, what a family is, and for the most part they're looking at that with the Let's Get Together Festival, but apparently other angles as well,
like
which is what...
Comic Connellsville, and they're like, what's the family gonna
be?
It's like a dad, a mom, and kids.
Yes, that was a little oblique. And, yeah, what the whole Parker family thing there was showing that, and they did still make mention to Camilla and Matthew's conversation with Whit in there, which is a good tie.
I was like, what's Olivia's deal? And then she's like, what's our family then? And I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of a good question.
I think the interesting thing about this in terms of the whole saga with this episode is you can see how the saga has developed past like the introduction point now.
Yeah.
Because the first two episodes, you're bouncing between every single plot line and introducing all of them. And now we're in like the middle part because it's shifted to longer and more detailed looks at less plot lines per episode.
Like with Green Ring, what's his name? Dr. Thorne? No. Dr. something. Bless you.
Doctor Who. That's not what I meant to say. Which doctor? That was completely unintentional.
The art doctor from...
Dr. Trask.
Yeah, Dr. Trask. Like, he wasn't even introduced, and Penny wasn't.
Until episode 3.
Until
I know, but I mean, like, at the beginning, like,
yeah,
the first two, it's like, we had, like, 7 plot lines in both the first two episodes. I was so upset that Buck
wasn't in this episode. I was, like, looking forward to Buck appearing.
I'll get there.
But, I'm hoping he's gonna be in the next one.
This episode, we only looked at, like, Comic Connellsville, Hadley, Wooten, Jules, the Skeleton Key, and the Pride Festival. Which kind of sounds like a lot when you say it like that, but really it was a lot less, plot lines.
Like so much happens, yet so much doesn't happen.
But we looked at them in way more detail.
Yeah.
So you can see how we're starting to get into the meat of the saga.
I'm actually kind of finding Hadley interesting. I don't know about you.
That's about all I had to say on the episode. There's one more thing. They made a sneaky little reference in here, and I kind of realized it. Or I
knew that was gonna be a reference to something, but I'm like, I don't understand.
I suspected it when they said it, but I didn't make a note of it. And then later on Facebook, they mentioned it again, and I copy and pasted the quote because I'm like, yeah, I want to mention this. And during the panel, and so basically, it's pretty sure it's a reference to Connie and Mitch.
Oh yeah,
so
I picked up on that. Yeah.
Hadley says, "You brought Captain Absolutely really close to a relationship with Melanie the librarian, but then you had her transfer to a Books on Wheels truck in Germany." So yeah, when we said you had her transfer to Germany, I was like, that's definitely Mitch.
Yeah.
David says, "A lot of your fans were really disappointed, even angry. Why did you do that?" Wooten said, "Well, the girl who played Melanie wasn't available anymore. Union issues." And then Hadley says, "It's a comic book." Wooten says, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, I thought it would change Captain Absolutely's character too much if he got into a serious relationship, so I figured it would be better to send Melanie to Germany. I mean, they need more librarians there."
I actually didn't think of Mitch and Connie. I think I might have slightly, but then just kind of brushed it off. What I was really thinking about in this part was Eugene and why he and Katrina can't have kids.
Because, I can see that with
that's
the end
like word for word what he said. Like it would change his character.
Yeah,
too much.
But I think they've said that about Connie too.
Yeah.
And Connie and her relationship, and it's really like the fact that they said they transferred her to Germany.
Yeah.
That's what the kicker is, I think. I don't even know where Budapest is. So,
sounds like a bug with a different religion.
So,
I love that line.
That is Ties That Bind Part 3. Quickly and concisely.
Jules. Let's talk about Jules.
Let's.
You start.
Oh, I don't know what you want to talk about her.
I feel like
her facade talk? Was that it, or what?
I don't know, just Jules as a character. I find her very interesting.
Yes, she is definitely. I'm very glad that they kept showing it on to keep on developing this further.
She's definitely unlike any character we've ever had before on the show.
Which is good, because she's bringing in a very, like, modern viewpoint in terms of she's bringing forward a philosophy that a lot of people have nowadays, so we can finally critically examine it through character interactions on the show through her, which is great.
It's like Odyssey, if I use the analogy that it's trapped in the past, and then Jules is kind of like modern day coming and kind of like interacting with that and seeing how they clash, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I think I keep on saying this. It just seems very Aubrey, Connie, and Erica. Like, I feel it's gonna have a very Aubrey and her parents kind of moment at one point when Aubrey's in jail. I feel like Jules is gonna get put in jail, and then Connie's gonna have to like come and pick her up and like talk to her and stuff.
That is possible, depending on what she and Vance are planning. We still have no idea. I can't guess at
Well, I think we can both agree that she's going to meet up with Vance.
Well, yeah, and it's definitely going to be something illegal. I just don't know how.
I really am hoping Jay's not going to get involved, especially after 30 Jays. Like, oh, Jay, I have such high hopes for you.
Okay, overall thoughts on the episode? Unless you have something else you wanted to discuss.
What do you think's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the
bunny.
box? I'm with the box. Don't you recognize me?
The bunny. The bunny's in the box. Put the bunny back in the box. Chaos dunk.
So yeah, what do you think's in the box?
I don't know.
I think it might be like, I don't know, maybe like letters or something that June had or something like that.
Nuclear launch codes.
No, I think it's going to be more like, I don't know, like letters, or maybe it's like a hope chest or something like that.
Ooh. Like to tie into Connie's like future relationships kind of thing? Or just like,
I don't know, kind of just like to finish off
her emotional closure?
Yeah, her emotional closure. It'll have like pictures of Connie as like a baby and stuff like that, and like letters.
I think she probably does have closure. I mean, it probably is something sentimental like that.
More closure, because she does have closure, but just like completely wrapping everything up, basically. Because you can tell that there's still like a little bit of, I don't know, up in the airness right now.
Yeah.
So what do you think's in the box?
Full of money. Imagine that.
Oh, I almost just said something, but I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say Mildred's body.
Actually, honestly, when the first thing you said, like, what's in the box, I was gonna say, like, June's body. That's the first thing that came into my mind, somehow.
The body of April for messing with her hat.
Actually, the second thing I was gonna say, because I was like, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say, like, it's Bill's body. It's like,
yeah, I almost said Bill's body.
The Bill running around there is a clone, and like a Bill Alpha is actually like his bones are in the chest. On a serious note, I really don't know.
It's Lindsay. Lindsay's in the box.
Or Aunt Helen. Yeah.
Ever wonder why Lindsay never came back after staying with Connie and June?
That was Helen.
Oh, Helen. Helen's in the... Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Helen's in the box.
So, yeah, it's probably something emotional like that, having to do with, like... Yeah, letters is really good idea.
It's the Eugene action figure
but it
from
could be
the cover of Life Expectancy.
It could be, like, letters that June wrote to Connie when she was little, kind of thing. Kind of like the letter, like the family portrait episode.
Letters that she wrote to Bill or something like that, but never actually sent. What do you think?
Interesting. Like, as a way that Connie would read them and it would encourage her to, like, reconcile further with Bill, kind of thing?
Yeah. I think that might be nice. That'd be sweet. And then, like, maybe Jules would find them first, and then she either would or wouldn't want to show them to Connie or something, but then Connie would find out about them.
Maybe, or maybe it could have something to do with her faith, too, tied into it, and Jules would read it and be inspired or something. I don't know.
Maybe it'd be, like, June sending letters to Bill about, like, after he left the funeral, but she never sent them, or they were sent back or something.
Something like that.
And, yeah, stuff like that. So, anyway, it's probably not a body.
Probably not. Okay, final thoughts.
I guess you went first last time, so... Wait, no. You went first in 30 J's. I went first in Last Great Adventure of the Summer. It's your turn again.
It's Gabe's turn now, is what it means. Let's see. I'll give this episode 3.8 out of 5. Because, I mean, overall Ties That Bind is great, but, I mean, this episode wasn't, like, having a whole lot of super outstanding stuff. It was still, it was still good, but...
Give it higher marks once Buck shows up.
It's just an intermediate episode to keep the things moving along towards the bigger and more exciting plot line. So, yeah, 3.8, I think that's fair.
If they ever mention Hand Up again, we'll either give that episode, 5 stars or 0.
Yeah.
That's, the only thing we can give it. Even if, Eugene just says, the words hand and up in the same sentence, but not talking about hand up.
He's just speaking Latin, and you think you hear him say Manu Sarsum, and...
I'm just oh!
Or if he says please. Eugene says the word please. Philanthropic living enterprise of altruistic services for everyone.
It's Half-Life 3 theories, but with hand up.
Yeah, it's Half-Life 3 from Hand Up confirmed.
Oh my gosh.
This is our role in the Odyssean fandom, is adapting memes to bring this fandom into the modern age. This is what we're here for.
Or the Jewels, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. Alright, final thoughts, Victoria?
I agree with you, the fact that it was a good one, but it wasn't, amazing, so I'll probably give it...
It was a filler episode.
Yeah, it was a filler
episode. As filler as you can get with an arc like this.
I think I'll give it 3.3.
Alright. That's fair.
So...
Alright, so let's turn you over to Devin and Victoria, slightly ensconced in the future now, so they can review part...
we're gonna be taken away from each other.
We'll split from the middle. Okay, and we'll see you soon. And here we are back again in split screen to talk about episode 754, The Ties That Bind, part 4, written, of course, by Paul McCusker. Victoria, could you please give us a short rundown of this episode?
Okay, first off, I don't know what order these things happen in, we just kind of listed them. Okay, Wooten is offered a full-time publishing contract by a company whose name I forget. Buck is taken in by Eugene and Katrina. We finally get to see Buck. Ah, Buck, I love you. Wally Hagler goes off in search of the mysterious chest, June's secret, whatever, treasure trove thing. And the ghost town is mentioned again, so I guess it is relevant, even though we'd kind of like to pretend it isn't.
Apparently everything's converging on it.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. Meanwhile, Wit's End is vandalized. Again, that has not happened in a long time. Jason learns about Wit's talk with Miss Adelaide and gives him some advice that maybe he shouldn't talk to Miss Adelaide that much anymore. And meanwhile, also, Wit is dying.
Yes. So, the episode, honestly, when I started listening to the episode, I was kind of focused on something else for the first 30 seconds. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. Buck's voice. I was like, okay, I have to rewind back to the start again.
Are you serious?
So, yes.
They just, mentioned Buck was going to be there, and I was just like, oh, finally.
Yes. Buck, what we've all been waiting for.
Buck.
After a long time since, well, not that long, relatively speaking, but it has still been a while since album 53. Buck Oliver is finally back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, please
so nice.
distill your quivering hearts.
Oh, I really missed him. He appeared, and I was typing to Devin on Skype. I was just listening to it, and I was just like, Buck, 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 Buck. And I just kept on typing that. So you go in my Skype feed, it's just like...
Yep. I nagged you for a
long
long
lines.
time.
And then
to
Devin
listen
just
to the episode.
every now and then, just a comment from Devin says, stop.
I didn't say
it's
that.
Buck, Buck, Buck,
No,
Buck,
because
Buck.
I nagged you
No.
for so long to listen to the episode, and finally you did, and immediately started sending me Buck messages. I was like, aren't you glad you listened to me?
And then just more Bucks. Because all the best characters are named Buck. There's Buck and Bucky Barnes.
That's
Two
all
great
the
Bucks.
best characters right there.
All the best characters and everything. All you need to know.
Are you kidding me about $5 autographs? Seriously, Wooten's like, wow, I hope you're getting free food. I had to pay, when I went to
What was
Venice...
it, $15?
$40. were
$40.
like $40 for the ones that I got. If I wanted to get Draco Malfoy, he was going $50 a pop. 50. That's 10 times what
Tom
Wooten was like.
Felton.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it, especially after considering apparently he's like ditched the last couple years from showing up when he was supposed to. Also, there's a funny line about, "Thank you, generic fan person in the expendable red shirt."
I liked that line.
It's like you get so much great feed out of being at Comic Connellsville.
They're definitely having like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
with this arc.
So am I. Or
Like,
I was.
I know,
because apparently
it's like the nerd's ultimate dream come true.
Because apparently Comic Connellsville is over now, which really surprised me. I expected
it is?
Yeah, they said it was over
Oh.
now. I expected it to go on for quite a bit longer.
Well, I guess not everything can carry on forever if you... Apparently,
Everything ends in death.
lots of stuff's gonna go down still in the album. We still have, weird to think about, 10 episodes left.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
14-part album.
I know, when that hits you, it's just
Like a sledgehammer.
really weird to think about.
Yeah. So
Feels like Captain Hammer punching you in the face.
Captain Hammer's here, blowing in the breeze. Yes. So, as you mentioned, Wooten is offered an exclusive publishing contract, which I must say, it sure would have been nice if another publisher had decided to take Wooten off Breathtaking Press's hands before it caused Odyssey to lose the Best Small Town competition, but that's in the past now, obviously.
Well, it's not like they knew it was him.
No.
So. Plus, how is he supposed to know? And it's not easy to change publishers that fast.
Yeah, I imagine not. Especially when you have as wide an audience as Wooten does. And as many different series going.
Can the publishers, change a lot of things?
That'll probably depend on your contract.
Because what if the publishers are because to tie into the family thing, it's the family unit, the mom, the dad, and the kids are let's change it to be more universally liked by doing this. And then Wooten's no, I've been tricked. And then all of a sudden this curtain lifts up and you hear Mwah, and guess who it is?
Gay Blackard?
No. But you were close. It's Wooten's cousin.
That is close. I thought, because last time you brought up Gay Blackard, I completely forgotten that used to be a thing in a couple episodes ago. So I thought I was yes, I'm going to get the joke before Victoria says it.
No.
Oh, darn it.
The one time you remember Gay Blackard, you get it wrong.
He does have a tendency to slip from my brain.
He does.
There was a really great line with Jay and Wally about, you give a secret code phrase like, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain, and then the whole place is not about antiques. And Wally's it turns into what? A musical? And it's
oh, that's the second Rain in Spain reference.
yeah, I was going to say it's funny because we've had, Rain in Spain references before.
Search for Wit.
Eugene makes one of them and stuff, but I was oh, that's cool. And then Wally made the joke about the musical, and I was
And then I was
My Fair Lady. Also, I guess you could also say it was a reference, My Fair Bernard, where the title was a reference to it, because it was about Edwin taking Bernard and turning him into a fine actor.
Holy...
You didn't
I
realize
just
that,
got
didn't you?
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew the title was a reference, but oh my gosh.
Yep. I didn't note it. I didn't realize it was a My Fair Lady reference until someone pointed out, and that's got the plot line of Bernard.
I got the title, and I'm why did you name it this? It seems really weird to name it this. 30 J's Half September. But it actually has a point. I mean, 30 J's Half September has a point too, but it's kind of a dumb title.
I think it's clever.
Yeah, sure.
Remember what we thought of
Groundhog Day,
Drake the
a
Cosmic
J in the
Hopper?
life, 30 J's Half September.
Yeah, the pun itself is getting old, I will grant you.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a little pinball continuity to Square One.
I liked that. I like I rewound in that part. I'm like, did I hear that right? And I did. And I'm like, yes!
Well, it is a pretty hard name to forget. Laser
Mhm.
Blaster Pinball X3000, blah, 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 something like that. I've forgotten it, but it's a hard name to forget by
Laser
ear, I should say.
Blaster Pinball 3000, I think that
Something
is it.
like that.
I really, really like Jay's dialogue because I'm just like, I feel like we're getting so much fan catering in this album with some of the lines and like expectations and stuff. Because like first we have Connie's like, oh, we all know you're gonna adopt Buck because that's obvious and stuff. And now we have like Jay's, oh, is this, it's this. And then I was like totally on board with Jay. If I was in Jay's shoes, I would have been saying the exact same things because I'm like, it's Jason, let's make it an action story.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Stuff like that. So
okay, so
Yeah.
we come back to Buck with Eugene and Katrina. He comes home and stuff. A lot of pretty heavy emotional stuff. I really underestimated
know.
how many plot lines in this album they were going to be able to tie back to the whole ideal family image theme that they're going for. Because, I mean, it was, you know, somewhat heavy-handed in terms
And
of...
they mention Mr. Skint, and he's like, can we please stop talking about
Yeah.
this? And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
But yeah,
I don't think he would have visited him. What do you
No.
think?
He's long gone. But yeah, it was very
Yeah.
clearly intentional in the way they're talking about, like, so many broken families and mixed up families and stuff like that. But honestly, I really appreciated the openness with which they talked about, like, Buck's dialogue about the detention center and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty decently heavy, especially since this is a juvenile detention center and not, like, a full-on adult prison. And
So how... Sorry, you continue.
I was to say, like, even when they're talking about, when you're talking about, like, the different things that happen there, like, while it's not explicitly mentioned here, he did mention, like, the lack of shoelaces in the shoes, which it's well known that the reason they don't give them shoelaces is,
Like Ward.
yeah,
Is that
to
it?
prevent them from
Oh, I
hanging
get
themselves.
Oh.
Or from strangling other people, but if you're in solitary release, then it's to prevent you from hanging yourself from self-harm.
Okay. See, I didn't know that was a thing until the season 2 premiere episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Devin explained it to me. I get it
Yeah,
now.
that's why they, like, don't have,
Um,
like, open electrical fixtures or glass that you could break to slit your wrists or things like that, or shoelaces that you could try and hang yourself with or stuff like that.
So how much time do you think has gone on since the Green Ring? Like, how long do you think Buck was in the detention center?
No clue.
How long was Richard in the detention center?
Janae Okunide, Victoria.
No, I seriously want to know how long Buck was in there.
Well, so do I.
Let's try and
but
figure it
I
out.
don't.
Like,
Really, we're gonna try
how
and
many-
figure out Odyssey time?
yeah, I'm gonna.
Is that what we're doing
yeah,
now?
I'm gonna try and figure it out. So one Christmas have any Christmas episodes gone on since then?
54. Grandma's Christmas visit.
Oh, that happened. Okay, I thought it was that. Okay, so it's been probably a year,
At
maybe
least.
a little over a year.
I mean, we don't know what the OAC chronology is meant to be. If this album is supposed
True.
to take place completely after all 12 2014 OAC episodes, as the episode numbers, as they're currently numbered, would indicate, then that would make it a year and a half, basically, ish.
I hear fireworks going off outside.
Why?
I don't know.
Because it's Castlegar.
We're just a party town.
Yeah, but
Woo.
no, we're just a psycho redneck town.
We're not redneck that much.
Okay.
I'm not redneck.
Coming back to bodily harm, more mentions about Whit feeling ill. Like, okay, this is
I know.
definitely not
like I was
feeling
listening,
well.
I'm like, Whit
or
is
definitely
dying.
not
Whit is
boding well.
dying. It's not good. Whit is dying.
Yeah.
Like if they just mentioned it once, it'd be one of those things that's like, okay, that's really, really weird. Like maybe we could like, I don't know, pass it off as Andre had a cold when he had to record those lines. So
Well, like I
they
said,
made
it
it
was-
sound like he was sick or something. But no, something is happening.
Well, like,
It's like gay Blackguard is sending these radio Novacom signals
we're gonna get
into
letters
its
about
brain to kill him. What did you
I
say?
said, we're gonna get letters about this. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, because it said old... Because it was the album predictions episode, wasn't it? We're talking about the Gay Pride Festival and then about how old enemies were coming back, and you're like, it's gay Blackguard
Maybe.
coming to take over the town.
Maybe.
But, yeah, the thing is, like, I mean, we could tell from the first episode, it was very deliberate in the writing that something was going on with Wit. It wasn't just the delivery on the lines. But like you said, it theoretically it could be attributed to Wit being distracted or something like that. But here, Wit has now explicitly said that he doesn't know that this is an ongoing way he's feeling right now, and he doesn't know why. So it's definitely building to something foreboding.
I don't know, maybe it could be like something I wondered in the first episode. I think I said something like this, but not exactly this. It could be a lot like Castles and Cauldrons in the way that
he
he's
did
like...
mention that. I don't think so, though. Because, I mean, there's a different... I guess it depends how spiritually sensitive you are to different things. And I guess in terms of people's giftings in that area, everybody's different. And obviously, you know, spiritual giftings like that, you can't categorize into boxes. But I think that sort of thing is more tied towards, like, direct demonic influence things than something like a gay pride festival, which isn't nearly as spiritually threatening. Well, I mean, some people treat it that way, but on that topic, and so it begins, to speak of the vandalism on Wit's End.
Yeah, I thought about it, and we haven't been vandalized. 50 with the Whisperer doesn't count.
No, it would be 25, right?
Ever since, 25. No, I said 25, but then I thought about it more, and I'm like, Novacom.
True.
Yeah, my first thought, and I said
Influence
it audibly.
Or, sorry,
I said it to
no.
myself. I'm like,
Twisting Pathway.
wow, we haven't been vandalized since album 25. I was thinking of like Jellyfish and like when he's like a present to its end, and just that audio clip ran through my head.
Yeah.
And it's like Jason, and it was like
Connie, get down,
Connie, and stuff, and then like the crashing glass, and then Eugene.
The locals call it blah, 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 one. Eugene, run for it.
What's going on? We should just read up the whole series.
No, we're just gonna improv the whole series. Anyways.
And at one point I'll be like, oh, Jeff, I've always loved you. Oh, really, Connie? Let's get married. That will be in place of the Connie Mitch arc.
Meanwhile, in a 50-mile radius of the event. Anyways, sorry. Go on. Ooh, Mr.
Anyway,
Darcy.
so, yeah, there was vandalism in Novacom, and I believe that was the last time. Everything since then where there's been vandalism, like with the stuff in 50,
that wasn't
as
really
I said.
Vandalism. I mean,
that
a
wasn't
bomb
vandalism.
went off.
That was just destruction.
Yeah.
And either way, it was done by members of Wit's End, so it still doesn't count.
Yeah, Jason setting off a bomb in the basement does not count as vandalism, I don't think.
Yeah, Wit later. Do you think, like, after Wit was speaking in his horrible French accent, like, right before he was, like, walking away, and then he turned around last minute, he's like, by the way, you're grounded for setting off the bomb at the bottom of my shop.
You're grounded to this safe house in the French Riviera. Ugh.
Give you time to think about what you did while you're soaking up some sun in the beach.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, as soon as this started, I was like, they better not paint the LGBTQA community as being like this evil, hate-mongering group, all of them, who are trying to tear down anyone who doesn't agree with them. And to be fair, I'm not saying that there aren't cruel or irrational people in that community, but they certainly exist in the Christian, heavily quotation-marked, community as well. And I'm not talking about Westboro Baptist Church, because I don't even lump them in with the word Christian in any sense of the word. I'm talking about a lot of other people, too, who still do a lot smaller things to hate-monger in subtle and sometimes even unintentional ways. But, yeah. Things are bad on both sides of things. So I was really worried that it was going to be painted up as this way. So I was very happy, at the least, how Whit was very hesitant in even mentioning it because he did not want to jump to conclusions at all about, what was going on here. He was very hesitant about that. Also, I have to agree with someone who submitted a question for Paul McCusker about whether the Vigilantors group was inspired by Anonymous, which I think does sound plausible.
Anonymous?
Like Guy Fawkes mask, V is for Vendetta, hacking and slashing down cruel regime, social justice.
Is he like Casey from Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Never mind, Victoria. Think of the empty hearse, right? That was all anonymous. They had the Guy Fawkes mask and everything. Remember the 5th of November? They even said the quotes from the movie in the Sherlock episode.
The empty hearse, that one was...
The first one of season 3. John nearly got killed because he was burnt underneath like a statue of Guy Fawkes.
Spoilers, Devin! Jeez.
You know what, Victoria?
I think I would have to tell you about that.
I'm sorry that they haven't watched it in the last 10 months since the episode came out. 10 and a half months.
Don't worry. They'll have another 10 years to catch up before Series 4 comes out.
True. Okay, almost at the end of the episode now. Jason... This one line Jason gave was really over the top. He was like, you haven't just said no to Miss Adelaide. You said no to them. He said it really like...
I know, that's why I was like, them. Jason tells Whit to be wary of his words.
It's like, them, no. Part of me was like, oh no, Jason,
them.
Not them. And the other part of me was like, really, Jason? Them? Who is that? Would you like to elaborate on this pronoun game that you're playing?
Would you like to... And it's another week at the Pronoun Club.
Yeah.
Same time, everybody. Get a little RVB in there.
Not the gays. Run for the hills as they burn your things with rainbow fire.
Run, the gays are coming.
Their rainbow fire breath scorches the land to bare scorched earth. Destruction reigns aplenty as they inundate the minds of your children. Death and destruction.
I only heard like the last couple words because Skype totally froze up. I heard like bears entering the minds of your children.
Yeah, that's about the gist of what I said. And then there was like half of the episode all about this Hangman's Hollow thing, and I have no idea still, like, at all where that is going. Like, I don't even have a guess in the slightest where that's going after 4 episodes.
Know what I think we should do?
But the name of the organization... The name of the organization thing did say something about families, so I guess that is also tying into the family thing somehow. They said something... It almost sounded like they're buying antique stuff, but one way they said, like, we almost put it on the... And then he cut it off, and the only word that could come to my mind for that was, like, bonfire, pile for bonfire, or something like that, since they're talking about wooden objects, so... I have no idea what's going on.
I think they're killing everyone that goes within the radius of that place.
Probably.
Maybe that's where Mr. Skint is.
What did you
What do you think would happen if Mr. Skint showed up again?
Like, emotion.
What if Buck was, like, going
emotion.
on a walk to clear his head or something, and then he ran into Mr. Skint?
A lot of emotion would happen.
Oh my gosh, that would be so sad.
Emotion throwdown.
Actually, I don't... Okay, I would like the scene. I would enjoy it in, like, the same way you want, like, something terrible to happen to your favorite character just because it'd be super dramatic and help them grow as a character.
Until it happens, and you're like, why?
Yeah, until it happens, you're like, why did I ask for this?
Like Mako Haru emotional fights and stuff, and then you're like, why?
And all the stuff with, like, Wash dying.
What have I done?
Season 12.
I brought this on myself.
Tucker dying.
Such
Season
tears.
12. It's all terrible.
Much crying. Wow.
Everyone dying. But yeah, it would... I actually don't know... Like, if Mr. Skint appeared in a different album, I'd be totally fine with that. Because it'd be totally like... Okay. A character gets out of the juvenile detention facility, and then a villain that they used to work with appears in the same album. That would make it feel like Buck, the only reason Buck is there is because Mr. Skint is there. Just like what they do with Blackguard and Richard every single time.
Yes, except for the fact that Richard... Oh, I guess I was going to say Richard didn't... Richard, the homecoming, but Waylaid was there too. Yeah, that's the only thing that annoys me is that, like, Richard shows up. Well, of course Blackguard's going to be there. You know that now because they never show up one without the other. They're like quantum tangled to each other.
I was going to say, what about I Slapped Floor? And I'm like, wait. In that one, Richard is Blackguard. That would explain why they're always in the same place at once.
Yeah, that took it to a whole new level.
It's like, not only are we always in the same places, we are the same place.
Just think, Victoria, you know how, like, how Mitch was supposed to be, Richard originally? Do you think if that was true, if Richard was Aram originally, then the chairman would have been Blackguard?
Connie would have fallen in love with Richard.
But then he would have...
You know, I actually did kind of ship Connie and Richard. But it's because, like, the first time they ever met, you could tell that Connie had a crush on him.
And Lucy was like, back off.
Back off. He's mine, even though there's like a 7-year age difference and you're like the exact same age.
At least when they paralleled that whole thing with Emily and Buck, the age difference was so much smaller and less creepy.
I know.
But
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If Mr. Skint does show up, that means Buck is just Richard, and that's the reason we all like him so much. Because they did the romance thing with like Lucy and Richard, and then they paralleled it with like Emily and Buck, and then he would just be another Richard, and that would explain why he's so popular with the fandom.
But seriously, do you think if Aram had turned out to be Richard, then the chairman would have been Blackguard because they can't come back without each other?
I want to say no, but I honestly have no idea.
I honestly think it's a real possibility, even though he was dead.
I think it'd be really unfortunate if that happened, because I really do like Charles.
He was dead still, come to think of it now. But, yeah, I guess...
It was like, surprise, 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 yeah. I'm not dead for like the 12th time.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Richard didn't come back for Blackguard's revenge somehow. Like, Whit didn't try to fight the Blackguard virus by creating like an antivirus program that just happened to look like Richard Maxwell. Like, that would not have surprised me in the least.
I really hate that we have to say that the Night Travelers, like...
You know what? Let's get on to our final ratings for this episode, unless you have anything else to say.
It ripped off the Night Travelers.
Victoria?
Why would you think that was a good idea? You know, I was going to say, you know why they cut Eugene from that one, but they didn't. One fortunate change, Eugene was not eating the whole time.
True. Okay, Victoria, final thoughts about this episode, unless you have more
Was Hadley in this
discussion.
episode? I think he was.
Sorry?
Was Hadley in this episode?
Yeah.
Can we talk briefly about Hadley?
Sure. The floor is yours.
So, Hadley... and, like, the publishing thing with Wooten. He is a total... Okay, you know that Homestuck comic we really like, and Kanaya has, like, a bag of rom-coms and stuff? She's like, I'm going to watch these with Rose. And then Dave's like, what's in the bag? And then she's just like, I can't say or else someone will show up. And then he's like, well, what are they? And he's like... And she's like, ROMCOM.
Hey, Kanaya.
And then Carcat shows up and he's like, what's in the bag, Kanaya? And she's like, And
if I can find the comic, I'll put it in the description.
I'll send you the link after.
Oh, thank you.
It's just called What's in the Bag.
Do you have, like, an online link for it, not just the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And so, like...
I love that one.
Caution, there might be some swears in it.
I don't think there are.
If you do watch it. Yeah, there are.
Oh, okay.
I think there are.
Language warning.
Yeah, language warning. So, like, it's just like that. Whenever Wooten does anything that's comic-related, it's so obvious that Hadley's the Perilous Pen. Because, like, Wooten says something like...
If we're wrong about this, it's going to be very embarrassing.
And then Hadley's just like, what's with the comic Wooten and stuff? And it's like...
Yeah.
How does Wooten not know?
He's like, so,
like, Wooten,
you want to give
Wooten's
me
a smart
any...
guy. Wooten's, like, not quite the caboose of Odyssey, but he's pretty close in, like, intelligence levels. Like...
Wooten or Hadley?
Wooten. Like, silly, but still really smart, just like Caboose.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like he should have caught on, or at least, if not him, someone. Like, Penny's smart, too. I don't really know if Penny would catch on.
But
though,
yeah, I know.
but-
Hadley was like, so, Wooten, you got any inside info you want to share with me about, like, your publishing decision? Or any hints about your comic? Or if you're going to be selling any comments to the food critic from Ratatouille? Like, yeah.
I you know what bothers me? I'm pretty sure if
Hugo
Wooten
Wells.
does...
That's his name. Hugo Wells.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if Wooten does accidentally slip something to Hadley about what's gonna happen, where Hadley, like, finds a spoiler or something, Wooten's like, please don't put it online or anything like that, or something like that happens, like, Hadley just overhears something, and Wooten finds out that he knows something, and then all of a sudden it's, like, on the Perilous Pens website, or Tumblr or whatever. I really feel like Wooten's gonna be like, oh no, how did it get out? I don't understand, and stuff.
That's what worries me, is I do realize that is going to happen, even if it's really obvious.
That is gonna happen, and it's gonna be, his thought process is gonna be like, if I told Hadley, then maybe, I don't know, he probably won't think Hadley told someone else.
No, he will. He'll be like, Hadley must have slipped it to someone.
He'll be like, Hadley, did you tell anyone?
And
then Hadley will be like, and he'll, like, hide his little name tag that says Perilous Pen. He'll be like, no. And they'll be like, okay, just tell me if you see anyone. And he'll probably think, like, he must have security cameras around here or something, or, I don't know, or be like, Penny, did you tell anyone? And, yeah.
What if he turns the blame on Penny?
Oh, that's...
I don't think he'd do that, because he already blames Hadley for lots of stuff, because Hadley already does lots of stuff. If their relationship was the other way around...
Hadley.
Imagine this would have been interesting if Hadley was someone that Wooten really idolized as a family member, like an older cousin.
I think he might be, actually.
But he's not, because Hadley's the one who's always sucking up to Wooten. Like,
yeah, but that's because Hadley sucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
That's not what I meant.
If it was the other way around, and Wooten was like, oh, Hadley, you're amazing. I wish, you're, like, such a cool guy and stuff. If it was the other way around, then Wooten would never suspect that from Hadley, and he would probably turn on Penny before he would turn on Hadley. Kind of like Jimmy with Len and stuff like that. Like, he wouldn't suspect anything from that.
Yeah, like I said.
Until there's something solid to push him past that point, yeah.
Yeah, you're using my rants as points. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. What was I gonna say? Something about... Oh, yeah. Do you like Hadley? I still can't decide if I like him.
I'm decided.
There's so many characters and things where I just, like... Okay, I'm someone who, like, hears a voice, and I'm like, I really like that voice. Like, most voices I hear in things, I'm like, I really like that voice, so I kind of like this character. I like his voice, but... Ish. No, I'm not saying I love his voice. I'm saying I like it a little bit.
I'm just saying I don't.
Except for when he gets annoying. Then just, like...
Which is all the time. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah, which is... all the time. Like, the stuff in the panel, like, that was super painful. Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's written to be awkward, so...
True.
Yeah. Hadley is such an untrustable character, like... Yeah, I don't know why Wooten actually... Well, I can see why Wooten would do things for him, because...
He's really,
Wooten
really
does
nice.
not... Well, along with that, like, Wooten and his family connections. Like, Wooten is worse with families than Wit is, and that really says something. Like, if his family members comes over, every single time he comes in contact with a family member, he always tries to make things, like, he always tries to build on their connection, to, like, make things good again, and just try and bond with his family, because he never gets to spend any time with them.
So you're saying he puts extra effort into his relationship with Hadley, because he's one of the only family members that he can get along with?
Well, I won't say extra effort.
More than he would for a random person, though, of the same relationship.
More than he would for a random person. It's just, it doesn't really show as much. It is more effort, but it might seem like normal effort because it's Hadley and it's really hard to like Hadley.
It's an interesting point. I like that.
Like, if you look at all this stuff with Wellington and, like, all this stuff with his dad and, like, what's it, Talia? Like, he is just trying really, really hard.
Like
I'm
Talia,
not saying in a bad way.
but pronounced
I love
differently.
the episodes with Wooten and his family. But, like, he really hates that he has, like, a hard time connecting with them.
To say the
so
least.
he really tries reaching out. And it's really sad.
It is. Okay.
He has, like, almost as many family issues as Tamaki does, and it just makes me sad.
We are running short on time, so final thoughts now.
Okay. All the stuff with Buck was just so heartbreaking. In a good way. In a good way. I have to clarify that. I cannot wait for more scenes with Buck. I want Eugene and Buck to go outside, and I want them to throw the baseball around the yard, and then Buck throws it too far, and then Eugene has to go, like, driving in his car all the way to Connellsville to get it back, because Buck is just that awesome.
That is a long ways away.
Yeah, I know. It's because Buck is amazing, and he can do anything. He has superpowers for being awesome and charming.
Because he's Dr. Blackard's son, you mean?
He is a PhD in charmingness.
Do you think that that's why Buck is back while the gay festival is going on? Because he's Blackard's son?
Don't talk to me. I will drive down there to Vancouver, and I will find you.
You have your end now, so you could.
Yeah,
Remember,
I
everyone,
am capable of driving down to Vancouver.
Go back and watch episode 23 of the Oddcast.
I will drive down there for 7 hours just to kick you in the shin, and then I will drive back.
The episode's only like 4 minutes long. Go rewatch it. It's amazing. It also has very aggressive Victoria in it. So, more on your final thoughts. Come on. I have a midterm tomorrow.
I don't know what to say. Whit is dying. I loved Jay in this episode. Jay and Buck were my two favorite things about this episode.
As long as you don't put them together, because then you get like that.
Oh my gosh. No, seriously, I love the Jay and Buck scenes, because it's just like, and Buck's just like, okay. And then
you
he's just like,
friends? Don't ever do that again.
like, they have the best interactions. Waiting for Buck to run into Emily and Matthew again.
Yes, and you could tell like they were definitely setting it up for that, going back to school, and it's like,
oh my gosh, Buck at school. If he gets picked on, it's gonna be so heartbreaking, because you just know there will be people who will pick on him.
It's gonna be the sunset
and then if he
shimmer.
like, and then like he might be like, leave me alone and stuff. And then what if like after like the billionth time they bother him, he's just like, hey, and then he gets, and then like the principal's like, Buck, get down to my office and stuff. And then Buck goes down and like Katrina gets called, and they're like, Buck, and they like blame him for it. He's like, I didn't do anything.
There's a high probability that he's either going to get into a fight after being picked on incessantly, or that he's going to get blamed for something that he wasn't involved in because of the bias against him.
He is going to get treated like Eric. He is going to have both those things happen to him.
So what's your final rating then?
The worst thing about Eric is he didn't do anything. Buck did. But
Eric Myers, that is, to specify for
Eric
people
Myers.
who don't know what we're talking about.
Because of excessive Buckness, and I've been waiting so long for him, I missed him so bad. And also because of, like, some of the scenes weren't that great in this episode. I think I'm going to give it 4.5.
And that's both episodes together, remember? This is a part 3 and part 4 joint number that we're giving.
Oh, right. No, didn't we review the...
No, we do.
Didn't we rate?
We do both of them at once, just like part 1 and 2. We just gave one number for parts 1 and 2 as if it was a two-parter.
We did rate episode 3, though.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think so, because we're like, wait for next time, because that's how we do it.
No, I remember rating those ones.
Okay, I think I might as well. Oops.
Because I remember we gave them pretty low marks because they weren't very good.
No. It wasn't that it wasn't good, it was just that it wasn't...
It was just... not as
It was
good
an
as the other
intermediate
ones.
episode. We're being the intermediate phase. Okay,
Not as good in comparison. I give it 4.5. What about you?
my final thoughts to go lickety-split. Ah, talking for so long. I don't remember how long we talked in part 3, but hopefully it wasn't that long. Okay,
There's a lot to talk about. It's a big arc.
I know.
Not as big as Fairy Tale, but...
Yeah. This arc is so big, it's the length of 2 football fields. 700 cubits long, 80 cubits tall.
I hope we used gopher wood. Ha ha ha.
Bad Bible puns.
No.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we had Buck and we had Jay and we had the mysterious Hangman's Hollow stuff and Wooten
We're not talking about the ghost town.
and Hadley and the anonymous vandalism.
Devin, what's in the box?
The bunny. Put the bunny back in the
What's
box.
in the box? I'm in the box. Don't you recognize me?
Put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put
So
the
Devin
bunny
and
back
I were
in the box?
talking after the last review, and I said, "What's in the box?" And I kept on saying it, and Devin thought I said, "Wits in the box" at one point, and he's like, "He is? That must be why he's acting so weird. We just have a clone, and he's malfunctioning, and that's why he's dying."
I was like, it's
The
Robo-Wit
real
from album
Wit-
34.
Yeah, the normal Wit is in the box.
I forgot we weren't recording that.
Yeah, that was after when we were packing up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one 4 out of 5 is fair, I think. It was good, decent, another one. It had a little bit more that happened from the previous part, but it was still, there wasn't a lot. There was like, except Buck was in it though, wasn't he? Okay, 4.3. 4.3 is fair.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Just the scenes with Buck are
Yeah,
very
the scenes, like I said,
reminiscent of
even-
the scenes with Ward.
They were very
I
emotional.
think the scenes... Okay, if we mark the scenes with Buck and we ignore all the other stuff, that'd be like 5 stars, because that was great.
The thing about the scene with Buck is it's not like really overly emotional just because it's Buck and it's like, oh, my poor baby child character.
No, it's because it's so serious. and
Yeah,
it's done
because
so
they
well.
handled it with maturity and emotion really well, which was great. So, yes, I will give it 4.3 then. So, next time. Oh dear.
Next time on the Adventures Now See Oddcast.
What are we doing, Victoria? I ask you in earnest.
That is a good question, Devin.
I actually did. Let's see if I can do this
What are we doing, Devin?
really fast. Random. I had an idea because we haven't picked our like special episode for next week.
Next time is the Halarvest Fest
Yes.
episode.
Okay.
Halarvest Fest, to quote Kevin McCreary.
We have 757 episodes right now. Okay, I just googled a random number generator. It is going to generate an
Wait, I thought we were gonna do that one in album 1.
We hadn't decided on anything solidly. So
I think we should.
here's what we're going to do. We can do it later
That's
on.
the one I want to do. You ask me which one I want to do. I want to do that one.
Too bad. I'm deciding now because you picked a bunch. Here's what I'm doing to be fun.
I didn't pick a bunch. I pointed out possibilities.
And exciting. Here's what we're doing. Okay, I googled a random number generator.
It's gonna be like part 4 of the Green Ring Conspiracy.
I'm gonna make sure it's not a multi-part one. Okay. Random integer with a value.
If it is a multi-part one, we get to do the one I just mentioned.
Between
Deal?
1 and 757. It's going to generate 100 random integers, but I will just pick the first one. Okay. Get numbers. The first episode that comes up is 614, which is album 55, I think. So I don't think that would work. 314 instead, which we might have done, actually.
Let's just do the one I chose.
314. What's episode 314? The Underground Railroad Part 1. Okay.
Devin,
423.
you get to do the one I
Wait,
chose.
this is the last chance.
No.
423. Passages Part 2. Fine. Okay. We are doing a change of heart. We'll try the random number
I
thing
decided we
another
should
time.
do a change of heart because we nag on it so much and we need to actually give reasons why we don't like it.
Well, we kind of did. I mean, we talked about it a whole bunch in our
No.
Odyssey Kids Show
Shush,
episode.
Devin.
But we'll do the
Stop
random
talking.
number thing another time. So yes, next month we will be reviewing The Perfect Gift, the OAC episode for October, as well as
I haven't listened to that yet.
Neither have
Oh wait,
I.
yes I have. Yes I have. Never mind.
As well as A Change of Heart. Until then, thank you for joining us on our side of the YouTube. I've been Devin Francis.
And I have been the one with the red hat.
And you've been watching The Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast.
I don't think I ever said my name in this episode. It's Victoria,
It's a
by
mystery. No one knows.
the way. Guess what's in the box? It's my name.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.